I'm guessing all these people are
Pepper. Because the two parking, literally, like, look at the map. There's two parking spaces. Two parking spaces. Mine too. Talk about bad math.
Empty? Empty. There's actually quite a few people at my house who probably would be like, agreed.
I didn't try to get that word up. And that label's been made.
That's kind of a text message. I'll be honest. So. What's that? Oh, thank you. Oh, that's right. Which one? This one. Scientific issue. Electronic science. I'm not worried about it. I mean, in the past, I was kind of hot on video times. I didn't like them flashing too much. A lot of people did in the past. But I understand it's for the school.
Not nearly long enough. It bothers me that kids don't
So we're succeeding in the earth.
Oh, God, thank you.
To me, it doesn't make sense. I hear the argument that older kids they take their time and there's one senior in high school that told me that and I mean, your kids start getting so much sleep, and your entire summer is dedicated to there. And you wake up. What happened to that vacation at the lake?
Yeah, I've been humming. Playing tunes on the radio in my car.
Nice. Look at the lake, enjoy yourself. Just, you know, what time are you getting up? I don't know. Just gotta play by ear, whatever happens. I don't know if we just like, you know, the last 2 years of things being shut down and pandemic. You're kind of like, oh, you got time. I'm like, no time. Now you're back full swing, full board. Like, here we go.
Hey, Chris, how are you? Nice to see you.
What's up?
Well, that railing was about 30.
Oh, I mean, for the streets, yeah.
Well, it sounded, no, I was reading into it. It sounded like that's what they were asking. Some improvements on the street. On the streetscape. That could be everything from light connections to you know, intersections.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't think
curb
so.
cuts.
It is. It is.
Yeah, no, I. Thanks, Brad.
All right. Which one did you want to hear? Yeah. No problem.
What do we usually do? I should have known that. The omnibus usually the asterisk in front of there.
Yeah, it is.
So I went like this. I go, oh, nothing omnibus.
Well, I called and I asked about it.
Oh, it's
It's really difficult to read.
pretty good. How about you? How are you doing?
Oh yeah, it's very even.
And I was pulling it up and I'm like, I know I have.
Tom, you don't need to worry about it.
I can't read it.
No, he's not. I hope so.
Yeah.
Ron just took it off.
Now I am, yeah. Which I'm kind of excited about it. Yeah, really on the railroad. I said, well, it's coming, I think.
I'm all ready for
I just figured.
I hear it had a mind of its own for 2 weeks now.
Oh, God.
So we will expect some.
I'll just use my couch.
Like 5 years.
How are you? Good to see you.
I'm sorry, you're missing half the show. Well, this thing is being tabled. But just don't get to hear about the milestones. Yeah.
Regular.
There you go. Someone's got a loan. You got to help me learn a roast here.
Well, I don't. Hold on, make it.
Post it every time.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I'm still waiting for the help.
Look at the show.
Good evening, with the time being 7 o'clock on this Monday, August 8th of 2022, I would like to call the Planning and Development Committee meeting to order. Can I please have a roll call?
Sulkida,
Here.
Calambars,
Here.
Hayleitner.
Here.
Baumgart,
Here.
Bancroft,
Here.
Lencioni, Petrilla,
Here.
Wirball,
Here.
Fester,
Here.
Weber.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. In regards to item 3, the omnibus vote, I know that I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to move everything with the exception of 4D. Who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Moved by David Petrilla, seconded by
Second.
Brian Wirball. Can I please have a roll call on that?
Petrilla,
Yes.
Wirball,
Yes.
Fester,
Yes.
Sulkida,
Yes.
Calambars,
Yes.
Hayleitner,
Yes.
Baumgart,
Yes.
Bancroft.
Yes.
Okay, so the omnibus moves. Getting right into item 4A, there has been a request by the petitioner to postpone the discussion of the River East Lost project until the first available special meeting date. So with that, I would like a motion and a second to go ahead and postpone that until first available.
What is a special meeting date? What does that mean?
When there is a date available, there's questions that need to be answered, I guess, and we can ask Russell, we can ask some questions of Russell.
Yeah, what's a special meeting date? I don't know.
Yes, we're anticipating that the item will need to be heard on one of the alternate Mondays that the City Council or committee would be meeting as a special meeting of the P&D Committee. The reason being is that we have items planned for presentation at the September meeting, which is the next upcoming regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
So with that being said, I'm asking for a motion, so moved by Bessner, second. Who moved it?
We'll give it that.
Okay, thank you. So moved by Bessner, seconded by Bancroft. Roll call vote on that, please.
Petrilla,
Yes.
Wirball,
Yes.
Fester,
Yes.
Sulkida,
Yes.
Calambars,
Yes.
Hayleitner,
Yes.
Baumgart,
Abstain.
Bancroft.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We are now moving along to item 4B, presentation of the concept plan for the Milestone Row 2.
Good evening. A concept plan has been submitted by J&B Builders proposing a 4-story mixed-use building on the remaining vacant lot in the Brownstone PUD at the northeast corner of South First and Prairie Street. The building contains 4 floors, first floor commercial space with parking on the first floor and up to 20 condo units on the upper floors. Plan Commission reviewed the plan on August 2nd. They expressed general support for the overall concept. They suggested the First streetscape design should be continued from the Milestone Row building to the north. It was suggested that access to the first floor parking be considered behind the building instead of as proposed on the north side. It was also suggested that traffic and pedestrian circulation around that intersection of First and Prairie be evaluated. Also, as part of the concept plan review, the developer is requesting feedback regarding financial assistance with the First streetscape. In the past, the city has reimbursed developers for streetscape improvements within the First Street TIF. Note that this property is located outside of the TIF district. Representatives from J&B Builders are here tonight to make a presentation.
Thank you. For the record, please state your name and address prior to speaking.
Hi, my name is Brian Bowie, 2110 Beckham Lane, St. Charles.
Julie Pallier, 276 Trudy Court, Batavia.
We're here tonight to present our concept for the property at the northeast corner of First Street and Prairie Street. A little bit about J&B Builders to start out with. We've been incorporated since 1994. We opened our first office here in St. Charles about 25 years ago. We were primarily a custom home builder during the first several years. In the early 2000s, began doing some commercial development, small commercial office developments, as well as some small retail developments. Toward the end of that decade, when private sector money evaporated, we started looking at other opportunities, began doing federal contracting, currently hold several contracts with the Air Force, as well as Air National Guard in Wisconsin and Illinois. With this particular property, when we took a look at it and the existing plans that are approved for the property, we took the initiative to look at updating what we felt was a different vision for the property. With its particular location at the south entrance to the city, as well as the proximity to commercial and residential, we felt that an architectural design, including 360-degree attractive elevations, as well as several other changes to the property needed to be made. We looked at reducing not only the number of units in the space, reduce the commercial space drastically, but also reduce the overall appearance of the elevation, going with the two-tower concept, with the middle section being two towers of 4 stories, with the middle section being only 2 stories high. We also, again, have reduced the commercial space down to 4 boutique spaces along First Street. We also wanted, with those commercial spaces, wanted to create a unique live-work opportunity for some of the purchasers of the residential units. With the ever-changing demographic of the business professional, as well as the events over the past several years, the live-work concept, I think, is going to be seen in a lot of new developments. We also wanted to include active lifestyle approach in the development. We've included storage on the first level so that residents will have access to bikes and kayaks to be able to enjoy the surrounding area. With this concept, we also have included a common element to appeal to the residents, purchasers of the units, to help generate that community feel. We believe that this concept will appeal to a wide range of demographic buyers, again, appealing to the young professionals, to those looking for that unique live-work opportunity, and even empty nesters looking to downsize. Again, with this concept, we'll have both residential units as well as commercial units. With the residential, we've included ample parking, interior parking for the units, Each unit will enjoy 2 to 3 parking spaces inside. We've also included storage on that first level, as well as we're planning to have lower level with storage opportunity. The floor plans will be customizable in regards to layout as well as interior finishes, and there will be extensive exterior space for each of the units. Most of the units will enjoy 2 or more outside balconies and or rooftops. With the commercial units, we felt it was important to keep that cohesiveness down First Street, so we included the 4 boutique commercial spaces to front First Street. We agree with staff comments that the allowable usage should be drastically reduced per the other approved plans currently with the land. And again, the 4 boutique units would only be available for purchase by the purchasers of these residential units. This would help eliminate any competition against other vacant commercial space downtown. We believe that our vision drastically improves the current plan by drastically reducing the amount of commercial space. We've reduced it roughly 80% than the previous proposal or approved plans. It also is reducing the number of residential units. We anticipate our initial marketing will be for 18 units versus 22 currently approved. We will be providing 11 more interior spaces than the current approved plans, which again will be for less residential units. The parking ratios, the current plans that are approved have roughly a 2 to 1, just over 2 to 1,000 square foot of commercial space on the exterior of the plan. Our plan will be just under 5 parking spaces per 1,000 square foot of commercial. Again, we varied the design from the other buildings down there. We feel that this is an updated approach with a tiered exterior that allows ambient light not only to help with this development, but it helps with the surrounding buildings also. And again, we have not gone to the extent of developing a landscape plan, but to have every intention to maximize the amount of green space within the development. The other aspect is there will be a lot of green space within the footprint of the development. If we do go forward with the development, again, we plan to perform the traffic study recommended by Plan Commission. We also plan to, down at the bottom, take into account staff recommendations regarding pedestrian crossing, and would be happy to incorporate any type of pedestrian crossing across Prairie into our site plan. We agree and plan to address all of staff's comments on their letter dated January 29. And again, we'll be happy to address any other concerns by this committee and Plan Commission and or staff. At this time, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll open it up to questions. Go ahead, Mr. Vestner.
Brian, you had mentioned less commercial space for the western portion of the first floor. Is there a reason for that outside? Is it part of the structure in designing the livable units, or what's the reason for that? Because mostly in our downtown area, we tend to want commercial all across any first floor.
With the nature of the site and the bedrock and trying to get a lower level of parking, it would be very costly for this site. We also feel with the current economic environment that we might be adding too much commercial space at this time into the downtown area if we were to attempt to.
Yeah. Well, I'll agree with you on the first part. I don't know about that, but,
Okay.
and then in regards to, what was I gonna go with this? The architectural style, I know you said it was going to be drastically different than what was back in 2005 or what mirrors what's Milestone now. Was that just to be different? I know you said you wanted a little bit more modern approach, but it just seems like it's drastically different. And then leaning into the streetscape part of it, are you looking for amenities that mirror First Street completely and are just completely different than the original model? I'm just trying to find out. I know you're kind of in the middle of two developments, so
So, based on staff comments as far as streetscape, we are willing, we're looking to move the building back so we can match the width of the sidewalk, and we also plan to continue the same look as what's in front of Milestone 1. As far as changing the architectural style, we've been working with Dan Marshall on this, who's done a lot of the design in downtown, and his input as well as our own. We wanted to try to create some variations and want to recreate the exact same building as Milestone 1, but also, you know, kind of, it's more a little bit, it's a warm, modern type feel to the building is what we were trying for, and kind of a warehouse kind of look to it as well.
Yeah, I saw the atrium part.
We also, again, wanted to include different levels of elevation with two-story concept in the middle, which we believe helps, again, with lighting going through the complex as well as serves to enhance all the units within the development.
Okay, thank you.
Are these rentals or condos?
They will be for sale.
They will be for sale?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
So I'm fine with the use, with the mixed use. I think it's great. Condos, you have plenty of parking for the condo units, which is great to hear. What I heard from listening to the Plan Commission meeting was some concerns about the architecture design. Some like it, some don't. I think what was expressed too was the quality of the materials that are going to be used. So what I saw on top there, is that aluminum material? What is that?
Go ahead.
It's either going to be a metal type panel, aluminum metal type panel, or we could do a stucco east. We're still deciding on materials. Primarily it's brick, but the higher floors, those are still, would be metal or the east.
I mean, it could possibly even be a tile.
Yeah.
Some other type of masonry product.
Yeah, I'm just thinking long-term. How would that weather long-term, 10 years from now? Would it rust? Would it fade? Would it?
Again, we are anticipating this being an upscale development with association dues high enough to keep the building.
To maintain it? Okay. So overall, the layout's fine. It would be nice to incorporate some of the elements of the other buildings. I'm just throwing it out there. Even if it's the same layout as this, it seems rather plain to me. I know architecture's subjective, so I get it, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there.
If, again, we move forward with the development, the next set of renderings would have more detail. In the fact, one of the staff comments was in regards to trying to distinguish between the commercial and the residential entrances and space. And one thing that will help do that is signage along the front, and the 4 slanted awnings are for the commercial entrances. Exterior, we don't have all the exterior lighting that would be featured on this building. Exterior features. We initially had some renderings with more limestone sills and other things that I think personally detract from the overall feel and look from the building.
Okay. And then, I heard there were some concerns about the entrance with cobblestone or limestone. What's the issue?
I think there were some members concerned with the entrance off of cobblestone holding up traffic to the entrance of the brownstone.
So are we having a traffic study? Is that what we're going to do to address that? Kind of figure that, okay, got it. Financial, sidewalks, so you said you're going to continue what's there, keep some uniformity with what's there. Okay, great. And then, are you going to try and save some of the mature trees that are over there? Because I think I get it, but it just kind of adds to the character of the area, so.
Again, that came up at the Plan Commission, and
at the end, there was a comment from the commission that the two or three trees on the north side of the property were pear trees that normally you don't put in anymore. So we plan on making it very pleasing landscaping, so trees that those trees at the north end and even at the south end are so close to where we're building, we could try to save them, but chances are you try to save a tree and it ends up, you don't save it, but,
their final comments were eliminate all the trees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
And again, there's, I think, 5 or 6 trees on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then what is the financial assistance for the First Street streetscape improvement? You're looking for.
Again, the first 30 feet coming in from the western edge of the property along First Street is public property.
Okay.
And we would be in agreement to do all those public improvements, but we're just asking.
I see. Okay. Okay. And then the commercial units, so are they kind of fixed, or is it just custom? You can make them custom. How does that work? Do they come with?
Again, they would be offered as shell space that could be customized. Again, we're looking at professional uses, possibly a very boutique retail type use only.
Okay. And then I believe there are 5 parking spaces behind the building.
Those, with moving the building to the east, those 5 spaces would be eliminated.
They would be eliminated. So where would guests park their cars if they're coming to visit?
We would have either the opportunity to possibly fit a few parallel parking spaces along limestone along the back, and or along the street is currently what people park back along there. But then also, we don't anticipate the commercial uses will need all 15 units in front, or parking places in front.
Okay.
That would also provide space for visitors.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Go ahead, David.
I think the use is fine. I do agree with my colleague. The architecture, I mean, I personally like it, but again, this is concept, I would just ask if there's opportunity to, trying to meld it slightly more with the surrounding developments, that would be great. And then regarding the improvements of the financial assistance, so the letter in our packet suggested several $100,000. That's an estimate now. Do you anticipate, is that a higher estimate, or do you think you're going to need less? Or
we think it'll be less.
Less, okay. Yeah. And obviously you'll have more data as you come forward with more.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, generally I'm fine with, as long as obviously you're working with us with the architecture and listening to what we have to provide in terms of feedback. So I really have no problem working with you and assisting in that capacity. You are improving that area. I would just, again, the architecture is really the thing for me. It's really nice, and I like the changes in elevations, but if we can just have it meld a little more with the next, and I don't even know what is that, like a Tudor style next door? It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the same, but, and what is this style? Did you say it's like a modern farmhouse or something like that? Okay.
Transitional type style.
Yeah, I think overall, yeah, no red flags. I think Plan Commission had really great comments, and look forward to seeing some little tweaks. So.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Ron.
Thank you. I like the concept is great. I think it'd be a good fit there. The architecture, I think, could use a little blending in with the area. I think you covered parking well enough, I think. I mean, we don't have the final numbers yet, but it looks good. And they're owner occupied, I like that too. They're not rentals, I appreciate that. I'm just not sure about the financial assistance. The reason being, we did it for the other part of First Street because that was part of the TIF. So we used the proceeds from the TIF to pay for that. This would come out of the city general fund to do this, and I have a little concern with that. I'd like to see more information on actual real costs versus estimates, but that's the only thing I have would be the financial assistance. That'd be my only concern. In general terms, I'm pretty satisfied with it.
Thank you. Rita, go ahead.
Let me just jump in real quick. I agree with my colleague in the first ward about the financial assistance. I kind of need to hear more about that, but I think apples to apples. You know, this is not a TIF, so it's a different ballgame. But I have a question, if you don't mind. We've seen other things come before us with this live-work concept. And what you said, the little boutique commercial space, but you have to have the adjoining residential piece, right?
Right.
Is that like you have to, or first dibs, or?
First dibs.
Okay.
Again, we would have 18 to 20 residential units. We believe with the sales of those 18 to 20, we might find 3 or 4 individuals that want to purchase that.
Okay. Because then I wondered too, if they can own it, but maybe they'll lease it. Is that a possibility too?
They could, again, as long as they stay in their allowable uses.
Okay, good. All right. Otherwise, I like it. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Bongard.
Can you talk a little bit about price point for the units, just, demographic, who you're targeting, and then is there any chance that if you aren't able to find people who might purchase at that point that it would switch to a rental?
It could be, and I believe that happened with the building to the north, that they did end up renting several of the units, and I think from an economic standpoint, at some point you would have to make that switch. Again, as long as we see activity like we have over the past, again, we all have concerns with the current environment. But we believe the demand for this type of product is there currently, and hopefully that won't be a necessity.
So ballpark?
Again, it's really hard to say. All we have is elevations at this point, but my guess is the smaller units are going to start north of $500,000. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Bancroft, go ahead.
So I actually like the contrast of the architecture. As you take the feedback from the remainder of the committee, I would encourage you to talk with Dan Marshall, and to the extent that you come back, I would bring him.
Okay.
Because he is very versed in explaining why this would all tie together and what the concepts are behind it. So I think that would be a really big thing in your favor.
He would have been here tonight.
There you go.
Look, just because you guys let your architecture go on vacation. But I think that would be a really big plus for you, because I think it's kind of a nice feel. I think it's a nice contrast. So I agree with the idea of reducing the commercial space. I think we are only seeing issues with first floor commercial out there, so I understand that that business decision. I personally have no issue with it being either condo or rental. I don't think a person's choice of housing is any indication of that person, so I disagree with some of the people on the council in that regard. But I think it's an exciting project, and I really like what you've done, and I think it's really attractive. So.
Thank you.
Sorry, I would just echo, I agree. I like the architecture. I like some contrast. I'd be a little nervous about everything looking the exact same.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Rita.
Sorry, I also, one more point, that I was glad in your little presentation to hear that you were going to go along with staff comments, because that was something else, the width of the sidewalks and the streetscape and all that. So thank you for that. That was another concern I had. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Seems like overall there's support for the project. Doesn't seem to be a lot of support for assistance for the streetscape. Doesn't mean that it's a no, but as far as, is there any other feedback you need from us? Okay.
Not at this time.
Thank you very much for presenting.
Thank you.
Sir, if you want to speak, you need to come up to the podium. State your name and address.
I just wanted to see if site plan,
Understood. This was just a conceptual review, so obviously information is on the website as well. But if you want to,
do I have to give my name?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Dwayne Perkinson. I live at 613 South 2nd Street in St. Charles. I think I heard correctly that they are projecting, they want ownership, a condo type of system?
That's what it's
still in the concept, but that's the idea.
Concept review,
right?
so nothing is permanent at this point.
Are they going to be having 2 parking spaces per unit in the garage?
Based on once again, this is a concept review.
Well,
so
I mean, is that what you're requiring?
the requirement is 1, I believe.
I know the requirement is 1.
Yes, sir.
But most people here probably have 2 cars. All right.
Just focus the conversation to us.
Okay.
Once again, it's just a concept review.
No,
so,
I was on the plan commission. I understand the process.
Okay.
You know, I see how many they're projecting, so that means the overflow is going to go parking outside, which is what they're projecting.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. The question I had is, when this property was developed way back when, was on the plan commission, there was discussion about the piano factory had a pit where they put and dumped all of the hazardous material from the operation of that factory. And I don't recall, because I didn't keep my planning notes from 20 years ago, where that spot was. Okay, can you guys, you should have in the city the location where that hazardous material is stored, correct?
Yeah, I would think once we get to that level, which we're not at currently, that will get looked at from the staff.
Well, I remember the issue came up when they were building the brownstones, how the bedrock was difficult to work with. So they're going to have to be digging into the bedrock in order to put the foundation and to put the parking garage below the ground level. That means they're going to have to be affecting the bedrock system in that whole site with that construction. So I want to make sure that you still have the plans, because there was a period where the city was simply destroying all paperwork.
What I can say is this, and this will be the last thing I want to talk about this, because it's not really the forum for this right now, but would be that with the conceptual review process.
Right. I just want to make sure that somebody takes a point of where was that material put when that property was developed. I thought it was somewhere near this development, and if they're going to be, hitting a rock to build this, is somebody going to be taking a look at that to make sure there's no effect to the ecosystem in the area?
Absolutely. I mean, there would still have to be engineering done. A lot of things have to be done.
Well, yeah, I'm aware of engineering. Just that, I don't know if they were aware that was buried there, 20 years ago. I don't know if you guys are aware that was basically they dug a hole and they filled it with concrete type of what they did. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All righty. Next item is 4C. Ellen was going to present on that.
Okay. An application to amend the zoning ordinance has been filed by Andy Schultes of School District 303 pertaining to electronic message signs, which are referred to in the zoning ordinance as electronic changeable copy signs. The request is to allow electronic changeable copy signs in the public lands district to constitute up to 75% of the total area of a sign. Currently, these signs are limited to 50% of the total sign. If approved, this amendment would allow a new electronic changeable copy sign at St.Charles North High School, which constitutes up to 75% of the total area of that sign. And like I said, the amendment would apply only to the public lands district. Plan Commission held a public hearing on August 2nd and voted to approve.
Okay. Questions on this? Go ahead, Rita.
Yes, Ellen, not that this has anything to do with changing the ordinance, but are they looking to replace their sign or put a new one on 31?
I believe it's a replacement.
Okay.
The applicant said that, yes, that's correct.
Okay, just replace the one that's on Red Gate. Okay. I was trying to visualize.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Any other questions on this? Can I get a motion in a second? Moved by Bancroft, seconded by Bongard. Roll call, please.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrillo?
Yes.
Wirball?
Yes.
Fester?
Yes.
Kulturitis?
Yes.
Calamari?
Yes.
Leitner?
Yes.
Bongard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up, we have item 4D, which is the recommendation to approve a final plat for Springs at St.Charles.
Yes, and this is a final plat that was submitted for approval. This project was approved as a PUD back in June. It's the 320-unit apartment complex on the north side of Smith Road. The property was also annexed back in June. So the final plat has been submitted along with final engineering plans, and we're bringing the final plat itself forward for approval. And it's subject to resolution of outstanding staff comments.
Okay. Mr. Wirball, you had a question?
No.
No questions?
No.
Ron, do you have any questions?
No.
No?
No questions.
Okay.
I just...
Can I have a motion and a second to approve? Moved by Lencioni, seconded by Calamaris. Can I have a roll call, please?
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrillo?
No.
Wirball?
No.
Fester?
Yes.
Kulturitis?
No.
Calamari?
Yes.
Leitner?
No.
Bongard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up, we have public comment. If anybody would wish to speak, please go ahead and come up to the podium, state your name and address. See no public comment. Moving along to any additional items from mayor, council, or staff. I do not see any. With that, I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Wirball, seconded by Petrillo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
And then that I didn't see the
Well, I thought maybe they queued up the mouse.